So I want to make this video so I can refer people to it, so I don't have to keep writing, because people say, "What's your diet?" And so, okay, little update. First thing though, the purpose of diet food that we eat, super important, man. It's more intimate than sex. We're like eating something and it's becoming our body. Also, it's becoming our mind. Ayurveda says the subtle essence of the food actually becomes our mind, and it determines if the mind's restless or calm or tamasic, inertia, dull. You see, food's huge. So when I'm talking about diet, even though it's individual to a large degree, there's some things that are universal, so it applies to everybody. Hydration. Our body's composed of mostly water. So is this whole planet. We don't live on Mars. We need hydration. Nowadays, people are super dehydrated. Everything's just dehydrated. And then you eat all this food that's hard to digest, so the body needs to produce more water to digest this mess. And it doesn't even have a surplus of water because everybody's dehydrated. So it's all kinds of things happen. You get dry inside. Your interstitial fluids don't flow. So your organs and bodily systems, they don't work efficiently. Nervous system starts to shut down. I mean, this is the problem with the medical paradigm. They don't look at any of this stuff. I mean, they tell you to follow the food pyramid. Okay. So we're updating things here. Hydration, alkalization. Alkalization means that you have good oxygen flow. There's three main flows of energy: blood flow, oxygen flow, nerve flow, and blood flow. Okay, let's say four. If you're not alkalized and hydrated, you're not going to have good flows. If you don't have good flows, then I sound gangster. If you don't have good flows, your body's not going to be operating efficiently as if you did have good flows. So hydration, alkalization, you need electricity. You need electricity. Nervous system's your electrical department. Runs off electricity. You need foods with high frequency, high vibration. That's why I talk about tonics, fruits, juices. You want high electricity, high vibration. But okay, then you need to be grounded. There's like ants all over. You need to be grounded. You got to ground that electricity. Otherwise, you'll end up like Jason Statham in that movie Crank. He was too full on, He had sex with the girl. Remember in the Japanese bus? They're all taking their pictures. That's what they do. There's in Bangkok, they had some live sex shows. I was never really into it because it's just too much. It's too gross level. There's no allure. It's But I remember people saying all the Japanese, not all, but a lot of Japanese and Koreans would go there because their life at home is very, very tight, very proper, and so something needed to escape that, and let their animal side out a little bit. So they'd go to these live sex shows, sit in the front row. I almost wanted to go just to see that, to see them. I don't care about the show. I want to see the people watching. Okay, I digress. So we're talking about hydration, alkalization, electricity. You got to ground the electricity. So this is my diet. In the morning, I want to be full on. I don't want to waste energy with digestion. Those who have a sensitive nervous system, you know what I'm talking about. I never liked to eat really growing up. Because every time I ate, I'd just feel sluggish and tired afterwards because my nervous system didn't have enough energy to digest the food. It was already at a deficit. This is why semen retention helps. I'm sure most of you watch my channel Beyond the Alchemy. If not, go see that. Talk about semen retention. I had to build up my nervous system by getting more energy, by doing high vibrational things and stop doing things that take my energy. Simple like that. So, we're talking about what I eat in the morning. I drink tonics, fruits, juices, smoothies. Okay, I do all that until about 1:30 or 2, and then I'll eat a lunch. Because the morning, I don't know, I get up at 5 or 6, 4. You know what I was going to say? Those that have been doing semen retention, especially if you're free of edging, I think you don't need much sleep. I mean, I don't even need, when I wake up, I can start running like immediately if I wanted. I mean, it's a whole different way of life, but it can take some time getting used to it. This bird's like wanting to hear me. Then it stopped, you see. Anyway, so I want to be full on in the morning. This is when I do my work. This is when I make my videos, when I do my consults. This is when I'm going to do my groups. Morning and early afternoon, this is when I want to be full on. Well, if you want to be full on, don't eat a bunch of food. Eat high octane fuel. And then you'll be full on, and you won't be spending any energy to digest. You'll just have surplus energy. Okay, it's always duality. What I say before, we got to ground it. We got to ground all this electricity. So for lunch, otherwise you just spin out. You'll get neurologically compromised. This is what happened when I was fruitarian. This happened to a lot of other people who are fruitarian. Or if you're on raw food for decades, it can take time before you get burnt out. But at some point, you can say your nutritional storehouse or reserves, they start to get depleted, and then you start just getting ratted out. And then the mind will justify and say, oh no, man, I'm digging deeper. I'm going to dig deeper. Detoxing. Yeah, don't fall for that trap. Listen to your body, okay? If your body wants candy bars and ice cream, that's something different, okay? You got to discern when your body's speaking with intelligence or it's not. So around 1:30 or 2, I'll have some lunch, but not a big lunch. I don't want to eat a big lunch. This also gets into Ayurvedic constitutions. You guys should learn about that. I made one video on that. You can type Ayurveda in my search box and it'll come up. Know your constitution. If you're more air and ether element, you're going to do well, and most of you are, I can tell by the comments, you're going to do well by eating smaller meals multiple times a day. Okay? Because your digestion's not as good as somebody that has like a kapha constitution. Those constitutions, they can eat one big meal a day. Those are your one meal a day people. But then they don't understand, like they have different constitution than other people. So they just keep telling everybody, like, what's wrong? It's so easy. Just eat one meal a day. No, if you had their constitution, you'd understand. It's not like that. And those people, kapha, who have more earth and water element, they can go on fasts much easier. Those who are vata, more air and ether element, they have more trouble because you need to be grounded. This is my point. This is what I'm saying. It's important to be grounded. Take the Ayurveda dosha quiz online. Just Google that. Better if you find an Ayurvedic doctor. But anyway, you got to start somewhere. That'll give you some direction, some guidance about your constitution. So for lunch, I'll have a decent sized meal, like, I don't know, some soup, or maybe some vegan bread with some cheese on it, or whatever. Then, an hour after that, I'll go back on the liquids. I'll hit the liquids again. But I'll cut off the liquids around 5 p.m. because I don't want to get up all night and go to the bathroom. So then, around 7, my dentist cooks for me. So whenever she sends me the meal, these are perks from living in Ecuador. She's a good cook. This is important too. You either good quality home cooked food, non-processed, this is what you want. So you can either do that yourself or maybe invest in somebody who can cook for you or something. Don't go to McDonald's and Burger King and just fast food and restaurants. I mean, it's okay once in a while. I'm not dogmatic, but I'm just saying. those who are really trying to rebuild their nervous system and live at the highest potential, and those who have kind of a weak genetics to begin with, all these things matter. So you want to eat good quality food. So around 7:30, I'll have my dinner. Again, not so big, just grounding. You see, the lunch and dinner is about grounding. If I could do it, I'd live off liquids all the time. I don't care about food. I don't know why, Just takes energy. Ayurveda says you can take up to 30% of your total energy just to digest food, depending on what you eat. So that's my meal. That's what I do. That's my daily diet. If I get to where maybe I spend a lot of energy doing work or making too many videos, and I get a little hungry in between meals, I'll have a handful of nuts. Get Brazil nuts or macadamia nuts or pistachios, whatever. Just take the edge off. But stay with your schedule. Tonics and fruits in the morning, a nice, decent-sized lunch, hydrate, alkalize after that, more liquids, and then have your dinner. Now, disclaimer, meat. Some people, they want to eat meat, and I say, go ahead and eat it. It depends on many things. It depends on your genetic constitution, how weak your nervous system is. It depends on, are you more Vata, more Kapha? It depends the cut and quality of meat. I was in the Amazon jungle going to this shaman some years ago. I normally don't eat meat because for me, when I eat meat, I feel it taxes my nervous system. So I don't want to eat it. Why? I feel better eating some good like rice and lentils or, veggie tacos or something like that. For me is easier to digest. That's why I don't eat meat. If I am to eat meat, I definitely don't want to eat pork. It's the worst. It's the most heavy. I'm not about dogma and all that stuff. I'm just talking strictly on level of health. Pork's really hard to digest, then beef, then chicken, and then fish is the easiest. But these creatures have very complex DNA systems, and so it's difficult for the body to digest for a lot of people. So check yourself and see. If you want to eat meat, go ahead. I was in the Amazon going to a ceremony once. We got there late. I was starving. It was like a 12-hour drive getting there. And all he had was chicken. I said, okay. I mean, in an emergency situation, I'm going to eat meat. I'm not going to, And but I noticed when I ate the meat, I was like, this digests pretty good. Huh. And I asked him about it. And he killed the chickens like recent. Like he just killed them. And cooked them like immediately. Well, that's going to digest better than if you take some putrefied meat and freeze it forever and then cook it in a bunch of bad oil. And you see, there's all these factors. Generally speaking, though, those who are wanting to raise their frequency and vibration, those who have sensitive nervous systems for sure, you're probably going to do better eating a healthy vegetarian diet. Now, if you can't get good, healthy vegetarian food, there's all these angles, and I don't have time to go over them all. That's why I make it simple and say, like, I'm not dogmatic. Eat whatever you want to eat. I'm giving some pointers, and those who these pointers resonate with, you can feel it. It makes sense, and so I'm talking to you. What was I saying? I don't remember. You gotta like activate your intuition. I made a video about that before. It will guide you. It will tell you like what to eat, what not to eat. You should get to the place to where you can think of a food, and then your body responds yes or no. Then you're self-contained. You want to be like that, and you can be like that. These downloads are already in you. They have to get activated. How do they get activated? By living a healthy lifestyle. You can see my other video, 8 principles or healthy lifestyle habits to activate your highest potential or nature. It takes time, though. This is the medicine that I'm sharing here is real medicine. It will transform you from the ground up. So that takes time, especially if we've been living in bad habits our whole life, and then plus our generations are doing the same thing. So we got that DNA. So we're like addicted to bad habits from the get-go. That takes some time to undo. So what? What else are we going to do? Once you go through this, once you transform yourself on the deepest level, you don't have to go through it again. So I think it's a good deal. And it doesn't take as long to revamp yourself as it does to screw yourself up. So God's helping us there. Let me know any questions you have. Go see my other channel, Spiritual Renaissance, if you want to know about activating your spiritual nature or spiritual practice. If you want to know about semen retention, go see Beyond the Alchemy. And I do consultations. My email is on the banner. I'll talk to you soon.